Remember when Dolph exposed how rejecting Yo Gotti's deal started their deadly conflict?
That's when Yo Gotti was trying to sign Dolph. You know what I mean? So text message showing y'all that's from all this back and forth for a year and a half, 2 years of, oh man, we need to sign Dolph. No, I'm straight.
Now, new explosive evidence has surfaced. Evidence that directly ties Yo Gotti to young Dolph's murder. And it's shifting everything we thought we knew about this case. Why was Dolph targeted? Did Yo Gotti really have a hand in planning it? And what role did his brother Big Jook play behind the scenes? Let's break it all down. When keeping it real goes wrong in the M, when Adolph Thornton Jr., better known to the world as Young Dolph, got gunned down on November 17th, 2021, outside a cookie shop in Memphis, most people thought it was just another case of street beef gone wrong. But hold up. What's been revealed in these courtrooms recently has completely flipped the script on everything we thought we knew about this situation. We're talking about allegations that this wasn't some random act of violence or even a typical street retaliation. According to prosecutors, this was allegedly a straight-up assassination ordered from the executive offices of one of Memphis's biggest record labels, with a price tag that would make your head spin and motivations that run deeper than any diss track ever could. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of these explosive revelations, we need to understand the foundation of this whole mess. See, in the hood, respect isn't just something nice to have. It's currency. It's what determines whether people take you seriously, whether they'll do business with you, and in some cases, whether they'll let you continue breathing.
Let's take it back. Tell me about Memphis, where you grew up at.
I'm from South Memphis. You know what I'm saying, the south side of Memphis. Cash State, that's my neighborhood. It's like TV, really straight up. Like a lot of people watch the movie Boys in the Hood. Like I put on everything like that our hood was for real, like growing up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying, like straight up, you feel what I'm saying? But we wasn't on the West Coast, we were down south.
Young Dolph came up in South Memphis, and anybody who knows anything about the M knows that South Memphis don't play when it comes to producing real ones. This wasn't some suburban kid who decided to rap about the streets for clout. Dolph was really about that life from day one, witnessing his first murder at just 9 years old, an experience that would shape his whole worldview and his approach to the game. Growing up in the hood, especially in Memphis during the 90s, wasn't no joke. We're talking about neighborhoods where the sound of gunshots was more common than ice cream trucks, where seeing somebody get their wig split was just another Tuesday, and where making it to your 18th birthday was considered a major accomplishment.
I ain't have a chance to do a lot of stuff that like kids enjoy, you know what I mean, when I was younger. You know what I mean, like the prom. Like I ain't go to prom, my prom, nobody else prom, because like I had 2 baby brothers I had to like I was out there early, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and trying to take care of home. I had to raise my little brothers, keep them on track. Had to pay bills, you know what I'm saying, my mama bills. And
see, Dolph's parents were caught up in that lifestyle. We're talking about heavy addiction issues that left him and his siblings to be raised by their grandmother. This young man was forced to step up and be the man of the house when he should have been worried about homework and video games. That kind of responsibility changes you, hardens you, and teaches you that if you want something done right, you better do it yourself. This early independence wasn't just character building. It was training for what would become Dolph's whole approach to the music business. While other rappers were scrambling to get signed to major labels, begging for deals, and willing to give up creative control for a check, Dolph was building his own empire from the ground up. When Yo Gotti came calling in 2014, trying to get Dolph to sign with Collective Music Group, CMG, Dolph basically told him thanks, but no thanks. Now, in the suburbs, turning down a lucrative business opportunity might just mean hurt feelings and maybe some awkward encounters at industry events. But in the hood, especially when you're dealing with people who built their reputations on being respected and feared, rejection can be seen as disrespect. And disrespect in the streets, that's something that can get you touched up real quick.
that's when Yo Gotti was trying to sign Dolph. You know what I mean? So text message showing y'all that's from all this back and forth for a year and a half, 2 years of, oh man, we need to sign Dolph. No, I'm straight. I'm straight, bro.
Now, Yo Gotti wasn't just some random dude trying to recruit talent. Mario Mims had already established himself as one of the most successful rappers to come out of Memphis, and CMG was becoming a real powerhouse in the industry. When you've built your whole reputation on being the top dog in your city, having some young cat tell you, nah, I'm good, can feel like a slap in the face, especially when that young cat starts making moves that prove he doesn't need you. And that's exactly what Dolph did. Every independent album that went gold, every sold-out show he did without major label backing, every business move he made on his own terms was basically a middle finger to the traditional power structure that Gotti represented. In the hood, that kind of flagrant disregard for the established pecking order is seen as a direct challenge to authority. But this wasn't just about business. This was personal. beef escalated when Dolph dropped Play With Yo Bitch in 2017, a track that wasn't just a diss song. It was a full-scale character assassination that attacked Gotti's credibility, his street cred, and most importantly, his manhood. In hip-hop culture, especially in the South, questioning someone's gangsta is about the most disrespectful thing you can do.
It's the principle.
It's the principle.
My don't play with me. Play with your.
I remember because we had
See
a
what I'm
conversation.
saying?
You didn't last interview that we had. I asked you about that.
And check this out.
Didn't
Check
speak
this
on
out.
it.
Check this out.
Mm.
He just a. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. Just, I don't. He just. Fuck him. He just a man.
The track hit different because it wasn't just rap beef. It was Dolph basically calling Gotti soft, suggesting that he was more concerned with playing house with other people's women than handling his business like a real G. In the streets, that's the kind of disrespect that can't go unanswered without looking weak, and looking weak in the hood is a death sentence for your reputation and your business. The feud drew in other players, including Black Youngstar, a CMG artist who started throwing shots at Dolph, escalating the situation from a business disagreement to a full-scale war that would eventually spill from the recording studio into the streets of Memphis. What made this beef particularly dangerous was the way it combined street credibility with industry politics. This wasn't just about two rappers not liking each other's music. This was about territory, respect, money, and power in a city where all of those things are closely tied to your ability to back up your words with action. The Memphis hip-hop scene, which should have been celebrating the success of multiple homegrown talents, instead became a battlefield where loyalty was tested, alliances were formed, and the wrong move could get you robbed, shot, or worse. The very culture that had produced these successful artists was now threatening to consume them. As tensions continued to build throughout the late 2010s, it became clear that this wasn't going to be resolved with just music. The diss tracks were just the beginning of a conflict that would soon escalate to levels of violence that shocked even hardened street veterans and would ultimately reveal a conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of the music industry itself. In the hood, there's an old saying, don't write checks your ass can't cash. But what happens when the checks being written aren't just about money? They're literally bounties on people's lives. When the beef gets real and bodies start dropping. Now check this out. When street beef moves from the recording booth to actual gunplay, that's when you know things have reached a whole different level of serious. And let me tell you something about Memphis. This city don't play when it comes to settling scores. What started as rap beef between Dolph and the CMG camp was about to turn into something that looked more like a street war than a music industry disagreement. The first real sign that this beef had jumped off the porch came in February 2017, when some fools rolled up on Dolph's whip in Charlotte, North Carolina, and let off over 100 rounds on his SUV. Now, anybody from the hood knows that when somebody empties multiple clips on your car, they ain't trying to scare you, they're trying to turn you into a memory. The only reason Dolph walked away from that situation was because his ride was bulletproof. And let me tell you, having bulletproof panels installed in your vehicle ain't something you do because you're paranoid. That's something you do when you know for a fact that people are actively trying to smoke you. Black Youngstar got picked up for that shooting, along with a couple of his people. But you know how it goes in these situations. Charges got dropped because nobody wanted to testify, evidence mysteriously disappeared, and everybody suddenly developed amnesia. That's just how the game works when you're dealing with people who have enough money and influence to make problems go away. But here's the thing about Dolph. Instead of laying low after somebody tried to turn him into Swiss cheese, this dude came back even harder. He dropped an album called Bulletproof that basically clowned whoever tried to take him out with bars like 100 shots, 100 shots. How the if you miss a whole 100 shots?
Worse. Yeah, it's like you got shot
In
at
the
more
in the
times in the
industry.
rap game than probably in the street.
That's not true.
God damn.
Damn, Dolph.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man, y'all just don't know, man. Like, it's a lot, bro. You know what I mean? Like, just coming from where I'm from and coming from the background, just doing and being into certain stuff, it's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely right. It's like when you try to, okay, this ain't my life no more, I'm doing this music.
Now, anybody who knows anything about street code understands that clowning your enemies after they tried to kill you is the ultimate disrespect. It's basically saying, not only did y'all fail, but y'all so incompetent that I'm gonna make money off of your failure. In the hood, that kind of flex can either make you a legend or make you a target for even more violence. Unfortunately for Dolph, it turned out to be both. Just a few months later, he got shot up outside a hotel in Los Angeles, taking 3 bullets, but somehow surviving what looked like another professional hit attempt. The crazy part? Yo Gotti was staying at the same hotel, which got people in the streets talking about whether this was all just a coincidence or if somebody was orchestrating these attacks.
Is it something that you understand? Like, how's it like, or is it like this difficult to comprehend? Because I mean, I know we sit back, we like, why does this keep happening to Dolph? So I can only imagine how you feel.
It's like, But when you go through certain stuff, when you're a certain kind of person, right, and you got certain stuff, you know what I mean, and you got access to certain stuff, and you're on a certain level with what you do, a lot of people, they don't like it, or they sit around and
See, what most suburban folks don't understand is that in the hood, there ain't no such thing as coincidences when it comes to violence. When the same person keeps getting targeted by different shooters in different cities, that usually means somebody with serious resources and connections is putting money on their head. That's not random street beef, that's organized, systematic attempts at elimination. But here's where the story gets really wild. Fast forward to 2024, and we're sitting in courtrooms listening to testimony that completely changes everything we thought we knew about Dolph's murder. During Justin Johnson's trial, prosecutors dropped a bombshell. They alleged that Big Jook, Yo Gotti's brother, and a high-ranking CMG executive put a $100,000 hit out on young Dolph. Now, when we're talking about $100,000, that ain't no petty street beef money. That's serious organized crime type money. That's the kind of money that says, I don't just want this person gone, I want them gone professionally, and I'm willing to pay top dollar to make sure it's done right. The prosecution's theory was that Big Jook wanted Dolph eliminated as competition and was willing to use the hit as a way to recruit new talent to CMG. Essentially, they're saying that Anthony Mims saw Dolph's murder as a 2-for-1 deal. Get rid of a rival and secure loyalty from the shooters by promising them record deals. If that's true, then we're not just talking about street beef anymore. We're talking about the music industry functioning like a criminal organization where murder becomes a business strategy and record contracts become payment for assassination. The evidence presented during the trial painted a picture of coordination between Big Jook and the shooters. Phone records showed communication on the day of the murder, and even more damning, testimony revealed that CMG paid $50,000 for one of the shooter's legal fees. Now let me break down why that detail is so significant. In the hood, when somebody gets caught up in a case, the first thing that determines whether they're going to snitch or stay solid is whether they have proper legal representation. Good lawyers cost serious money, and most street-level shooters don't have access to that kind of cash. So when a major record label starts paying legal fees for murder suspects, that raises all kinds of red flags about what they know and when they knew it.
So y'all,
Yeah, there's a right door.
stop it here.
It's me.
Do something. We're gonna back up. I might want to, back up a little bit. All right. First guy out of the car, who's that?
It's me.
That's you? Which one of the guns do you have?
I got the blue Draco upstairs.
Okay, that's that semi-automatic weapon, is that right? You ever shot that thing before? You can pursue that. That's your gap hoodie, is that right? That's you, who are you shooting at?
No.
All right, now back it up again. Miss Iris. Back it up for Justin, get out of the car. All right, who's the second person here, the guy on the driver's side?
Just,
He's got the smaller handgun, is that right?
yeah, bad, right?
The testimony from Cornelius Smith, one of the shooters who flipped and started cooperating with prosecutors, gave everybody a front row seat to how this whole operation went down. Smith admitted to being one of the triggermen and broke down how the whole hit was organized, planned, and executed. What makes this whole situation even more twisted is the revelation that this wasn't just about eliminating Dolph, it was allegedly about reshaping the entire Memphis music landscape to benefit CMG. Every independent success that Dolph achieved was proof that artists didn't need major label backing to make it big. His very existence threatened the traditional power structure that had made certain people wealthy and influential. In the hood, we call this crab in a bucket mentality. The idea that if I can't have something, then I'm going to make sure you can't have it either. But when you combine that mindset with the resources and connections of a major record label, you get a situation where competition doesn't just mean trying to outsell your rivals, it means potentially eliminating them altogether. Big Jook never got the chance to answer for these allegations in court though. In January 2024, he was gunned down outside a Memphis restaurant in what looked like a professional hit. No arrests have been made in his murder, but anybody from the streets can tell you that this kind of timing ain't coincidental. See, in the hood, there's an unwritten rule about retaliation. It might not come immediately, but it's coming. And when it does come, it's usually swift, violent, and final. Big Jook's death means that some questions about Dolph's murder might never be fully answered, but it also suggests that the cycle of violence that started with their beef was far from over. The whole situation reveals something disturbing about how the music industry can become intertwined with street culture in ways phrase that turned artistic competition into literal, life or death struggles. When record labels start functioning like criminal organizations and business disputes get settled with bullets instead of lawyers, we've entered territory that goes way beyond normal industry rivalry. What's really got people in the hip-hop community shook is the realization that this might not be an isolated incident. If major labels are really willing to order hits on independent artists who threaten their market share, then how many other random acts of violence in hip-hop might actually be connected to industry power plays? The final hit and the fallout that's still shaking the game. November 17th, 2021 started out like any other day in Memphis, but by the time the sun set, the hip-hop world had lost one of its realest ones, and the streets were buzzing with theories about who was behind the most brazen assassination in recent memory. What went down that afternoon wasn't just another case of rap beef gone wrong. According to what we now know from court testimony, this was the culmination of a murder plot that had been brewing for months, if not years. The hit on young Dolph wasn't no spur-of-the-moment street justice or some junkie looking for a quick lick. According to prosecutors, this was a professionally planned assassination that involved multiple conspirators and allegedly traced back to the highest levels of the Memphis music industry. We're talking about the kind of coordination and planning that you usually see in organized crime families, not record labels. When Dolph pulled up to Makeda's homemade butter cookies that afternoon, he probably thought he was just making a routine stop at one of his favorite spots in the city. But surveillance footage from the scene tells a different story. It shows Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith rolling up in a white Mercedes, armed to the teeth, and proceeding to light up the store with automatic weapons. The level of firepower these cats brought to this hit was absolutely ridiculous. We're not talking about a couple of street dudes with pistols trying to make a name for themselves. Dolph got hit with 22 bullets, with 6 entrance wounds in his back and 3 exit wounds in his chest and abdomen. That's the kind of overkill that says somebody wanted to make absolutely sure there was no coming back from this one. The immediate reaction from the hip-hop community was a mixture of shock, grief, and anger. When Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland tweeted about the tragedy, it wasn't just political posturing. This was a city official acknowledging that they had lost someone who was genuinely beloved by his community, not just his fans.
You and Dolph were cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you said that Dolph told you were the reason he started rapping.
Yeah, Dolph gave me my flowers on stage at a concert where he gave me my flowers on stage. Said I'm the first rapper that made him want rap. 2006, I came down there, I had black two-door Bentley on them 20s, and I was looking for weed out there, and Dolph sold me 2 ounces of weed. Young pull up, sell me 2 ounces of weed, and you know, when I pull off in that black Bentley, he say, man, this all this shit from rapping, I'm finna rap.
The tributes that started pouring in from across the hip-hop community painted a picture of someone who had touched way more lives than just through his music. When Gucci Mane posted, "R.I.P. to my friend Dolph, this broke my heart," that wasn't just industry politeness. That was genuine grief from someone who had watched Dolph come up and respected his grind. Megan Thee Stallion, who had collaborated with Dolph, shared memories of his genuine and kind nature, reminding everybody that behind all the street credibility and independent success was someone who was genuinely good people. In the hood, being remembered as real and solid is about the highest honor you can get. But while the hip-hop world was mourning, law enforcement was working overtime to piece together what had really happened. The arrests of Justin Johnson, Cornelia Smith, and Hernandez Govan marked the beginning of a legal process that would expose connections and motivations that nobody saw coming. When Justin Johnson's trial got underway in 2024, the evidence that came out was absolutely damning. We're talking about surveillance footage, phone records, witness testimony, and forensic evidence that painted a clear picture of a coordinated hit that had been planned well in advance. But the real bombshell came when prosecutors started connecting the dots between the shooters and Big Jook. The testimony suggested that this wasn't just about eliminating a rival. This was about using murder as a business strategy to reshape the entire Memphis music landscape in favor of CMG. Johnson got convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and being a felon in possession of a firearm, earning himself life in prison plus 35 years. That's the kind of sentence that says the judge wanted to make sure this dude never sees the streets again. And honestly, after what he did, that's exactly what he deserves. Cornelia Smith's decision to flip and testify against his co-conspirators gave prosecutors the inside information they needed to build their case. When somebody from the streets decides to cooperate with law enforcement, that usually means they've realized they're facing serious time and they're trying to save their own skin. But even with convictions being handed down, the story, it's far from over. Hernandez Govan, who prosecutors say was the mastermind behind the whole operation, rejected a plea deal and is scheduled for trial on July 28, 2025. His trial might reveal even more details about how deep this conspiracy really went and who else might have been involved. The case has forced the hip-hop community to confront some uncomfortable truths about the culture surrounding rap beefs and how competitive tensions can escalate to deadly levels. Industry veteran Boozy Badass put it perfectly when he pointed out that everybody loves to egg on beef between rappers until somebody actually gets killed.
We don't say that when we egging on the beef. The whole world never say that when they egging on the beef. When everybody put on the song, everybody egging out, nobody don't be saying that. We feel like that right now, but when it's egging on, it's all fun and games. When everybody promoting the beef against other rappers, they love it. That's the song you'll go watch, go listen to before you listen to his whole album. You won't hear the song when he talking about somebody.
The elephant in the room throughout this entire situation has been Yo Gotti's complete silence. Despite allegations that his brother orchestrated one of the most high-profile murders in recent hip-hop history, Gotti hasn't said a word publicly about the situation. That kind of silence in the hood usually means one of two things. Either you're scared to speak up or you're trying not to incriminate yourself. When music industry veteran Whack 100 warned Gotti on social media to say his prayers, given the testimony about CMG's financial connections to the case, it reflected what a lot of people in the streets were thinking, that this story is far from over and that there might be more retaliation coming. The impact on Dolph's family has been devastating in ways that go beyond what any amount of money or justice can fix. When his partner Mia Jaya expressed frustration with how the investigation has been handled, she was speaking for every family member who has lost someone to senseless violence and then had to watch the legal system move at a snail's pace while their pain continues every single day. For independent artists throughout the hip-hop community, Dolph's murder has sent a chilling message about the potential consequences of challenging the established order. His death serves as a stark reminder that success outside of traditional industry structures can come with deadly risks, and that's a reality that no artist should have to face. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this entire situation is what it reveals about how the music industry can become corrupted by street culture in ways that turn artistic competition into literal life or death situations. When record labels start operating like criminal organizations and business disputes get settled with bullets instead of contracts, we've entered territory that threatens the very foundation of hip-hop culture. The legal proceedings continue, with more trials pending and the possibility of additional revelations that could further expose the connections between the music industry and organized violence. But regardless of what happens next in the courtroom, the damage has already been done to the hip-hop community and to the families who have lost loved ones to this senseless violence. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.